It's the final percent. The final percent.
All right, welcome to another edition of the Final Percent podcast, and I've got an incredible human with me. Dr. Jamal is going to drop some knowledge on you. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you, Greg, for
And
this opportunity.
if you get this, if you get on Instagram, if you get on the YouTube, all that stuff, we're actually sitting classroom style in those old like desks that we've spent a little too much time in. The one where you'd always kind of like push like this and crack your back. But yeah, it's we're both kind of in we're in the realm of education,
Yes.
and we really care about planting seeds of community, understanding, equipping, bringing opportunity where there was none before. But I would really like to hear what got you into education? Why do you care so much? Because in a world where caring is a commodity, why do you care so much?
Man, that's a great question, Greg. I care so much because it was instilled in me. My parents were big on education. They were big on community. And so my biggest way of giving back is educating my community. I grew up, some of the people in our community didn't understand financial literacy, didn't understand business planning. And so me being able to be educated and go through those certain skills, I was like, I have to give back to my community. And then it kind of came when I was actually an athlete. I was a college athlete. I ran for track for a school called Ashford University. And so while I was there, they kind of took me through the go-around. And so the things we forget is that once you get to college, it becomes a job, especially being an athlete in college. And so they kind of gave me the runaround. I was supposed to play basketball, then work out. They ended up having me try out. So first they told me to red shirt, and then they're like, no, we need you to try out. And so I'm like, okay, whatever, And so I tried out, got cut, and then the track coach recruited me as well. And so I started running track, but I was mentally and physically beat down.
Yeah.
My body was not the same. My knees were bothering me. And I was like, I need to have a game plan. And so what do I enjoy most besides family? And that was community.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? This is my goal and this is my why, is to educate my community, because I want them to understand that, through different avenues, through different things that are going on in your life, sports is great. But there's other opportunities outside of sports. And so that's kind of my why, is really building my community, building them around business planning, and understanding business.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing about watching the kids when their light bulb goes on? Because, we're trying to get through. We're trying to get through.
Yeah.
We're trying to get through. And then something happens. Can you share just, a specific story? Obviously, you don't have to do names or anything, but just when you finally got through and you were like, this is what education is supposed to be.
No, I agree. I think I was teaching an intro to business course at CCD, Community College of Denver, and I think the biggest thing was that I was challenging the students. I was letting them know that being an entrepreneur is being a leader, right? Because you're creating something not only for your family, but you're creating something for someone else, which could be a job, it could be an internship, it could be anything. And I think that when I was challenging them, I think they were like, man, okay, this professor is taking it to a different level that I've never noticed, that, hey, being an entrepreneur is being more than just what you think it is. And I think that was really key. But I think the key thing was when I had them create their business plans. Yeah. And I was like, because what that intro to the business course is kind of diverse, right? You have individuals who want businesses, you have some that are just interested, and you have some who are just taking the class because they need the credit.
Because they need the credit,
right.
Exactly.
And so what I was able to do through that business plan was really have them take pride into what they were doing, and letting them understand that everything has business in it.
Yes.
And I think through those business plans that they created, I think majority of those students ended up becoming entrepreneurs.
Well, that's great. Yeah, we're in an interesting age right now, because somehow, through the Gary V's of the world and the Grant Cardones of the world, it got sexy to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
And I think people forget that it's really hard.
Yes, it is.
If you had to give some pearls of wisdom, let's go, your top 3 things that you want to make sure someone understands when they leave your classroom and they're going to go start their own business. Yeah. What are some of the things that you like making sure that they know? What are some, Dr. Jamal nuggets?
Right. I think the biggest thing, I love this quote from Dr. Miles Monroe, may he rest in peace. He talks a lot about, You know, poor people pursue money, right? Rich people pursue things, and wealthy people pursue ideas. So the key thing I want my students to understand is that your ideas is what's going to get you paid, right? And that's what you should pursue is ideas.
That's powerful. Wow.
Unlimited ideas. And so another thing is networking.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And networking is huge, right? The networking is your net worth, right? Being able to talk to people, relate to people, spend time with people, right? That's important. As well as you have to be able to take risks.
Yeah.
Being an entrepreneur at tons of risks. There's times you're going to get paid. There's times you may not get paid.
And sometimes you lose it all.
And then times you lose it all. Thank you. Yes.
I've done that a couple times.
Right. Same. So that's really the goal, is really understanding that, hey, we're taking risk. You're using your ideas. You're networking, right? But also business planning. Making sure that you're jotting down your ideas.
Exactly.
As well as, because that's what's going to lead to funding.
Yeah.
Right. How great you propose or pitch your business is going to lead to investors or banks giving you money, or even receiving grants.
Exactly right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I tell this story all the time because a lot of people, I have a upcoming conference that I'm putting on that you're coming to.
Yes.
And some people always ask me, why should I go? What's the big domino? What's the big promise? And I'm like, and I think this is why sometimes I confuse people. Because I don't have a big promise. Yeah. The thing that I realized, I won a ticket to 10X from Grant Cardone, the very first one. And I went there to learn business strategies. Yeah. I went there to network.
Correct.
I went there to buy courses, and man, they are good salesmen.
Yes, they are.
I went there to get the tools, to get equipped. Yeah. The problem is I walked away from there with something completely different. A guy named Tim Story, who is Oprah's life coach, Robert Downey Jr., Quincy Jones, Kanye. I mean, he's the coach of the stars. He created Iron Man, for crying out loud. Right. He was telling me the story about when he was talking to Robert Downey Jr., and he says, Robert looks at him and he says, I just want to be okay. And Tim looks at him and he goes, Iron Man is never okay. He's always awesome. And you got to learn how to show up like that. And I was like, wow. Because think about it. He's not getting that role if he doesn't walk in and be that Tony Stark guy. Yeah. But he walked out and on 10X1, didn't sell anything, and he just took me to what I call entrepreneurial church. And I mean, he punched me down into my soul, rearranged a few things. And I remember looking over at my wife and I said, maybe I should stand on stage for something other than singing. I went there with an open mind, thinking I'm going to get these business strategies and the business tactics. And I left there thinking I was going to be a speaker. And that's why you get in the right room, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yes, you do. And
I think networking, we get into the, especially these young kids when they're trying, they think that they can do everything themselves. Yeah. And they put themselves on islands. They beat themselves up like it's all up to them. The mental health is incredibly important, specifically for people starting a business. And you have to be kind of in tune with who you are. One of the things, two things that I tell them is you got to be open and you got to take action. The ideas are great. They're great, but they don't mean anything if you don't take action. Yeah, and so many people, and this is why I think it's funny when people are like, I can't tell you my idea, bro. I'm telling you, this idea is like it's going to go to the next level. I tell everyone all of my ideas all the time. And I tell people, go ahead and steal it. Because if you can take more action than I'm about to take on my idea, you deserve it. Yeah. But the other thing is I'm not going to hide the idea over here and not test it out on super smart people like yourself, because you are going to see it differently than I am. You're going to be like, hey, Greg, I see you're going to go spend this $250,000 or something. Have you thought about this, and this on why you're about to light that money on fire and not get a return? I'm like, oh, my God, I'm glad I talked to you. That's happened to me countless times. That networking is unbelievably important, and I think that people forget about it, but then they also try to hide their ideas from people. They don't want to talk. They don't want to communicate. They don't want to connect. And I think that that's important for people to get out there and have the conversations. One of my favorite things to say is you're one conversation away from changing your entire life. Wow. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, I had a pretty important conversation with my wife. I'd say that changed a few things. I mean, we're bringing a baby into the world in November. Yeah. I mean, congrats. That conversation brought another human into the world. And you never know the butterfly effect on how much of a difference you can make. And I think that people don't give themselves enough credit.
No.
And another thing is if you're scared to tell your ideas in a room, get in a different room.
Wow.
Don't sit there and go, they're just going to judge me.
Yeah.
If you think they're going to judge you that much, get in a different room or grow a pair. That's your options. Get in a different room where maybe the gap, the difference in experience and the difference in resources is a little less substantial. So get in a room that doesn't scare you quite as much. Or if you're the person who has all the best ideas, you got to get in a different room because everyone's just going to be yes men.
Yeah, you don't want that.
No, you don't want that. So let's talk a little bit about what's next for you. What are the seeds that you're planting? I always talk about, God, when he shows up in your life, he gives you seeds. You can either eat them or plant them.
Right.
What seeds are you planting right now to change your tomorrow?
That's a great question. The seeds that we're planting, I would say because I have a team collectively. We are all working on ways to build our community, either through certifications, through community funding, receiving grants to teach entrepreneurship to the community, because our goal is for no one to have to pay to take our classes.
That's so great.
Right? So we really want to get grants, different and additional funding to make sure that we're educating the community. Like I said before, I grew up in a neighborhood called Montbello. It's an urban neighborhood, mostly Black and Hispanic, or Latinx, I should say, excuse me. But, growing up, they didn't teach us, or DPS didn't really teach you about entrepreneurship, Denver Public Schools. What they did was they taught you, you go to college, get a 9-to-5, right? Yeah. And our goal is to teach the community that, hey, you can have a 9-to-5, but you can also build your business.
Exactly right.
And so that's what we're working on. We're making connections with different schools, different organizations to really provide the necessary skills for those students and for those youth.
Yeah, and there's a great speaker that I love quoting. His name is Jim Rohn, and he says, work full-time on your job and part-time on your fortune.
Yes.
So 9 to 5, that's cool, but when you're there, don't wish you were somewhere else. Work. Yeah. Build that relationship. And I love the phrase, don't ask yourself, what am I getting from here? What am I getting from this relationship? What am I getting from the job? What am I getting? Say, who am I becoming here? Who am I becoming? And I think that if we can try to become someone of value, then we do something of value. It's pretty simple. And I think why you and I we're kind of kindred spirits is if you listen, guys, I know I talk about this all the time, the idea of bringing opportunity where none existed before. One of my really good friends, Francois Baptiste, told me that one time. And, I'm just going to, because, everyone wants to cancel everyone, I'm going to tell you guys exactly how this story happened. Okay. I talked to Francois because I have so many Black friends. And when the big BLM kind of exploded, I called Francois and I was like, I don't want to be the white dude coming in and trying to save people. Can you help me understand how I can help? And he goes, number one, I wish more people would ask that question. But he said, Greg, all you have to do, regardless of race, regardless of creed, social status, bring opportunity where none existed before. And that's what he told me, and it changed my life. It's my mandate when I wake up now. When I talk to Dr. Jamal, that's his mandate. If you listen to what he said, hey, I don't want people to have to pay for this. I want people to get certified. And we own a college, KMG Life, and when I was seeing some of the certifications you guys do you think you need to be certified in Google Workspace? Dude, I need to get that certification because I lose more things and get confused faster than anybody you know. Microsoft Word, whether you like it or not, it's here to stay. Yes. The small business courses that you teach, it's very important. And in your company, you have community in the name.
Yes, I do.
Community. Tell us a little bit about your company.
Oh yeah, so empowering community entrepreneurs. Like you said, Greg, community is in that.
Is everything.
In that, it's everything. But I believe everyone's an entrepreneur in their own right. And so I also have a slogan, teaching success to a community of entrepreneurs. Ooh. That's what's powerful, because we have to understand that we can all build something for ourselves, but we should be always focused on generational wealth.
Yes.
Right? Because if we control our time, we control our money. right? And that's what's key, and that's what I want our community to understand is that you can control whatever you want to control, right? When we work for somebody, unfortunately, they control our time.
Yes.
Right? But time is everything, right? Time is something we can't give back. And so that's why I wanted to really, and I was so inspired to create this business, man. As a young guy creating this business, you have obstacles.
Yeah.
I started this business when I received my master's in organizational management and business. I started it eager to help the community. And so I started on Colfax and Galena. For those of you who are familiar with Denver, that's a rough area, right? And so I'm a young guy excited to teach business, wanting people to engage and be there, and they weren't there. Because you have to think of the dynamic. And that's one thing I learned is understanding your location, understanding your surroundings, because those individuals are looking to survive.
Yes.
They're looking for food right now. They're not looking for, oh, you teach me this business plan and my business happens in a year. And so just really knowing your location, knowing your target market was key for me, because knowing that this community is like, yeah, you're cool, you're saying some great stuff, but I need some money right now.
Yeah.
I need food right now. I need a house right now. And so,
they don't have any time to plant the seed. They need to eat.
They need it right now, and that kind of concerned me, because I'm so eager to, I want to help you. How can I help you? But sometimes you got to understand who you're marketing to, understand your target market, and understanding how you can actually help them.
Yep.
And so
help them understand what's possible.
Right. Agree. And so that's the reason key for starting that business was really to teach what I'm teaching individuals here at this college was to teach the community the same thing without having to pay so much money.
Yeah. Right? That's so fantastic. So. One of the things I tell people is you are one of two things. You're a time teller or you're a clock builder.
Right. And
you're teaching people to build their own clock.
Yes.
If you work for someone, you run your life by their clock. Yeah. You get there when your shift starts. You get there when they tell you to, and you're telling time. Oh my God, I got to get to work. Oh my God, I got to this. Yeah. I'm telling you, if you can equip yourselves, equip your mindset, your heart, your spirit into someone who says, I'm gonna build my own clock, and I'm gonna run my life based on what's inside of me, because we've got things. Everyone, I call it the exponential. To live an exponential life, you've got to identify your X potential. Wow. So it's kind of like Clark Kent, he's running around. He knows he's Superman, but he's not using any of his powers. All of us are superheroes, but we're not unlocking that X potential because we're scared we're going to get judged. We're scared that, someone's going to say we should have done something, this, that, and the other, and then we start shooting all over ourselves. Right. And so the big thing we have to do is say, hey, I've got something special inside of me, and we've got to get a community that will believe in us, that will believe in what's possible, that will believe in where we're going, and dare I say, clap when we win. Yeah. How many times does the community not clap when someone wins? That is a rising tide raises all boats. Yes. And if you can clap when other people win and you look and help people build their own clocks. Oh, I was trying to build that clock a year ago. Let me, this is where I went wrong. Let me help you with this, that, and the other. Yeah. And I think that if we can identify where are we the clock builder in our life and where are we the time teller in our life, we're going to be able to take the next step in understanding and being the master of our universe, if you will, and unlocking the X potential. Because we're all superheroes. Yes, we are. Just gotta get clued in on the Justice League vibe. It's okay for me to be Batman and you to be Superman. That's okay. They do different things. They have different powers. And check this out. They need each other. They need each other. So we, as educators, we need other people to succeed. Yes, we need them to unlock what's inside of them. We need them to trust in themselves. We need them to educate themselves and then do it for someone else. Yeah. That's what this is all about.
That's what it's all about. Yeah, it is. I know, Grant, it's funny you brought up Grant Cardone because our team actually did his university. Okay. Right? And he makes something to the effect that, even the devil has salespeople, right? Yeah. Even God has salespeople. And so, right, these are our salespeople, right? These students, the youth, seeing their success is our success.
Exactly right.
And that's what I love to see. And another thing I'm big on is really for them to build their resume. What I mean by building their resume is get out there. Yeah. Right? Get involved in the community. Get involved in organizations. If you get an opportunity, go overseas or go to a different country. Go to different states.
Get some culture behind you.
Get some culture behind you, right? Because you need that. Build your resume so when people see you, they can say, okay, I want to hire this person. Or, okay, I'm interested in their business. Yeah. And so those are the things I'm really focusing and building on is like, what is their whys?
Yeah.
And the thing when I light up.
And then equipping them to be able to take that. That's so
and
cool.
what makes me light up is when they tell me their whys.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about Professor Jamal or Dr. Jamal telling his whys. It's like, what is your why?
Yeah.
Who do you want to help? Who do you want to impact?
Yeah. All right. So let's wrap this up with what is the thing that gets you the most excited right now? What makes you jump out of bed right now?
What makes me jump out of bed is just the success stories of our students.
Oh, that's great.
We have one student who actually is working for Walt Disney.
Okay.
We have other students.
I've heard of that company.
Yeah. I think everybody has. Just seeing students really pursue their businesses.
Yeah.
That's what really makes me light up is when you see them on Instagram, see them on social media, or even when I'm able to connect with them through networking events or just them calling me and just seeing that they were able to succeed with their business and really grow their business. But also what makes me light up is pitch night.
Yeah.
We do a pitch night that really makes me excited is when they pitch their businesses to,
potential
investors like yourself, and just really seeing them communicate and share their businesses and then how excited they are after they're done pitching and the connections they've made.
Exactly. Yeah. How do we get in touch with you? So your website for your company, help everyone understand if they want to learn more about what you're doing. What's the best way to kind of dig into the community aspect of this entrepreneur company that you've made?
Yeah, I would say definitely my website, which is www.ececolo.com.
Awesome.
And I'll be the best way to reach me. My number's on there, email's on there.
That's great.
And we can connect.
And then how do people get a hold of you via social media? Is there an Instagram or anything like that?
So Instagram, it's Empowering Entrepreneurs 17. And then Facebook is just Jamal Bowen, JamalBowen.
Awesome. Well, I'm telling you guys, we touched on a few things. The have that conversation, networking, get into the community. And I'm telling you, if you are a young entrepreneur, or actually no, if you're an entrepreneur, there's no age limit on this thing.
No, there's not.
I don't care if you are 85 out there or you're 15. If you hear this podcast and you're wondering how to get involved with your community so that you can make an impact, learn a couple things, and make sure that you're taking your entrepreneurial chops to the next level, Dr. Jamal is your guy. So reach out to him. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you.
It's the fire.